18 minutes past the hour. Welcome back into the Voice of Reason right here on KQAM on a Friday. Celebrating local activism, celebrating the men who deserve it so much. In studio with Robin Lace along with the Midwest Battle Buddies here. And Tony is on the mic with us as well. Good morning, Tony. How are you, sir?
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. So, all right, talk to us a little bit here. You're one of the great guys that trains these dogs. How do you do it? How do you get a dog to understand someone's needs, understand that they can be therapeutic, they can be helping, they can be whatever? I mean, how long does it take to train a dog for something like that?
It kind of depends on what the disabilities that the veteran needs, but it can take anywhere between 8 months and 2 years to train a dog. 8
months to 2 years. Now, are there certain types of breeds that are better at helping out certain types of disabilities or certain types of anxiety or something, or is it just
we don't test by breed. When we do our assessments, we're checking for temperament and ability to work and that desire for it. So we don't care if it's a pit bull or a Doberman, or anything in between. The only thing that we don't do is anything smaller than the size of a beagle. ADA law requires the handler that the dog does at least 3 tasks. And so if you get something much smaller, like a Chihuahua or a Yorkie or something like that,
sure.
They can't open doors for you. They can't. It's very highly unlikely that they're going to pick up, things that the veteran may need, like that's on the ground. Mm-hmm. So we try to stick with medium to larger dogs, but we'll go, anything from a Beagle to a Great Dane, as long as it has what we're looking for.
Sure, absolutely.
We train.
Now, what kind of disabilities do you have you helped different veterans with? Physical disabilities, mental, both? I mean,
we've done both. We have a couple of them that do seizure alert. We have some dogs, most of them, all of them do PTSD, as well as balance assist and mobility assist.
How many dogs have you trained?
Right now we only have a couple of them that have been actually fully certified, but we have about 16 that are in training right now.
In training right now. And what are the age groups? You usually try and, is it better to find them as a puppy to grow up before?
We prefer to have them between 6 months and a year, but we don't take anything over 4 years old into training. 4 years.
Mm-hmm. How cool. Now, money-wise, financial, to train these, to be able to get them ready for a veteran, what kind of finances does this take, or what kind of manpower does this take?
For PTSD, it usually, like I said, takes anywhere between 8 months and a year for PTSD. Those cost around $3,200 for each one of those, and the price goes up from there. It can go upwards to about $18,000, depending on what all services the dog needs to provide.
Wow, you guys are doing such a wonderful service here, and we have 3 dogs in studio right now. There's what type of breeds are all these again?
Cuervo is a German Shepherd. Carter is a Boxer mix, and then Kino is a Malamute mix.
How cool! How cool!
3 big dogs.
3
and
very
they're
big
just
dogs.
loving each other and sleeping there on the floor.
Don't tell my wife here. She's going to say, "Can you bring one home, please?"
I know, right?
No,
I should have brought my Great Dane. Nobody would be able to move in here.
That's right. Well, Robin, talk to us about the meeting coming up December 7th. Mm-hmm. The VFW. All of this working all as one thing. Okay.
Oh, it's 8th? Is it the 8th?
The 8th. Okay, the 8th.
On the 7th.
Okay. Why don't you pop over here? Let's go ahead and bring Chip in, because Chip can help me with this event coming up at the VFW, the location of that.
It's actually at the VA. Here in Wichita, and it's a town hall meeting they'll be having.
Okay.
And I plan on addressing them about the need for these service dogs and the change of thinking that needs to come about. Right now we're using 50-year-old thinking, where we have to go to these specifically bred for service animals that are going to cost you $18,000 right out of the gate.
Sure.
Through the hard work that Tony and the rest of the team have all done, we've been able to take rescue dogs, assess them, and use them for these guys, and we can do this for a fraction of that cost.
Sure.
But we can't get any help from the VA because we're not going through their channels that they say I need to go through.
Imagine
but
that, the inefficiency of the department.
Yeah, they keep sending the veterans to us, but they don't send any finance.
I had a veteran approach me last night. He actually is from Kansas City, and he's tried so many things, and he's really looking forward to listening to this morning. Mm-hmm. Even though he's in Kansas City, he's tuned in. We love you, Pat. So it's a big need.
And tell him he needs to contact us. We're Midwest Battle Buddies on Facebook, MidwestBattleBuddies.org on the net. Do you know if that's up yet? Stacy, get down. Okay, that may be under construction, but you can get to us either way.
Well, the Facebook is there.
The Facebook is definitely there.
Okay,
Yes.
and that's Midwest Battle Buddies
That
on
is.
Facebook.
Yep.
Just search that. It's not hard to find.
No, it is not.
And I'm so thrilled because I've worked with you guys before on some television things, and of course we're going to keep building this as we go because there is a huge need, just an absolutely huge need. I think one of the things that is disheartening a lot of times for not just the veterans but also their family members is the fact that, and sadly I know that this is a fact, is this over medicating of the veterans, and that's tough, It's very hard, and I think that that's probably one of the things too that you're kind of helping them deal with.
The dogs are very helpful in that respect. We've had people tell us if they either greatly reduce their meds, which they don't like to take because it makes them feel like zombies, from what I understand.
Sure, absolutely.
And some of them are completely off their meds. We've had guys that could not come out of their home because of all their issues, and they're going to college now. So, these dogs do great things, and it's really a good cause.
It almost seems like, that's how they pawn it off. Oh, okay, you're having a problem. Here's some meds. Go home and have a good day. It's a nice next, kind of thing running through. So this is the true therapeutic way to actually help heal, rather than just masking it with a bunch of drugs to where you feel foggy all the time. How long have you guys been doing this?
We've been, the nonprofit's been up about 2 years now.
About 2 years.
Yeah.
Wow. And where did this idea come from? Just the idea of, hey, we need something like this. We see the positives of this, or hey, you know what? I had this dog. It kind of did it on its own, and I want to kind of jump in and make this happen.
Tony, he was training. I met him because I was training a dog, and I hired Tony.
Okay.
And we started working together a little bit. And he had veterans coming to him needing service dogs.
Sure.
But the cost of doing the service dogs is so astronomical. These guys are on disability. You can't win.
Absolutely.
So he started the nonprofit, and we started working on raising funds. And then it came to the point, where are we getting these dogs? And, the best way to do that, if we can take a rescue dog, save a vet, it's a win-win for
It's
everybody.
a win-win for both. You're killing two birds with one stone.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
According to national statistics, there has not been one veteran that has committed suicide once they've been paired up with a service dog.
That's a winning stat right there.
Yeah, and that's,
Every
you're
day.
talking 22 every day. Veterans and one
22.
active service member every day.
National statistics state.
That's just
You
not
can't
right.
beat
It's got to
that.
change.
It's not. It is going to change. It's just not right. We have an average of 22 veterans per day that are killing themselves,
Oh, it's so
committing
sad.
suicide, and that's not going to work. That's just completely not going to happen anymore. And thanks to you guys. You guys are the front leaders in making sure that this does not happen anymore.
Well, we're not going to accept that number, and we're
Thank
going to
you.
do everything we can to push through. That's what I want to talk to the VA. Things have got to change.
Well, and
I'm
the awareness
hoping-
is starting. The awareness is starting. You've seen on social media the 22 push-up challenge for
Sure.
that recognition.
Yep.
The more people that become aware of the issue, the more we can work to fix it. And you guys are right on the front lines of being able to fight that.
And we need a lot of help from the government too. I was having some conversations with Mr. Pompeo. We were going to get together after the elections and talk about some of these things, but now apparently he's going to Washington to do
Sure.
something else, so it's probably not going to happen. But I hear some of these folks are going to be at the VA on the 7th, so I plan on addressing directly to them also.
Absolutely. We'll talk about some of the red tape that you have. You mentioned, the VA and some of the troubles of them sending, hey, we got some more people that you need dogs for, kind of thing, but you're not getting the financing, you're not getting the support. What are some of the roadblocks that you're running into as you're trying to expand this program?
The financial one is our biggest one. We're not getting any financing, so everybody's working out of their house. We don't have a proper facility where we can have a bunch of dogs there that we can train on a daily basis. They're running around letting dogs in, letting out, and it's pretty chaotic, I guess you would say, for your day. The other thing is I wanted to talk to them about is the service dogs that are allowed to be out there now that are not properly trained.
Sure.
These guys, it causes these guys a lot of trouble. These people go online and spend $50 on a vest and a card, and they have misbehaving dogs out in public, and this is legal to do.
I have a problem
And when
with
these guys show up with their dogs, they get a hard time because of the other people.
Sure.
It's just not fair to our veterans
It's
and
just
the
not
other
fair.
people who need a service dog.
And then those ones that aren't properly trained, you probably have to retrain them, which just costs more time, more investment, more money.
Most of those dogs wouldn't qualify to be a service dog to begin
Oh,
with. They
really?
would not assess.
Oh,
No.
well,
No.
that's comforting.
No, they flat out, we would reject them.
85% of the dogs that we assess will not make it through a service
Won't
dog
even
program.
make it, really.
Right.
So you guys are very particular on what kind of dog and make sure they're, that, as you mentioned, the right mentality for them. They have the want to actually want to do this,
Right.
rather than being forced to do something that they don't really feel comfortable doing.
Correct. And we spend a lot of time just pairing the dog. We'll do introductions with the dog and the veteran. And we got to find that right mix that they really click and have a team, because that's how they get to the point that they can alert on the seizures and night terrors and things like that. That's not something you don't go out and get a box of bones and teach a dog to do that. It doesn't work like that. It's something that they come through together as a
Absolutely.
team.
We do
Absolutely.
some of the training before the dog ever goes to the veteran. We do house manners and the basic obedience, but since I have some of the similar issues that my brothers and sisters have, I train them to alert on mine, just so the dogs kind of have a cue as to what to look for and the possibility of when their veteran needs them.
Sure, absolutely.
We teach a lot of handler awareness. So we teach a lot of where the dog is actually watching the handler even when they walk.
Really?
We do this a lot just because it helps with distraction, but it also helps with the dog being able to alert. Dogs can, they read micro expressions in human beings, just like another human would. So they're the only animal on Earth that can read a human's expression just like another human. So if our dogs are paying attention to their handler, they can pick up on those small cues of when their anxiety or when something else is about to happen.
Sure.
And they can alert the handler from there.
Sure, sure.
I have a question, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, let's take a bottom of the hour break here. We got a hard break
Right.
coming up here. When we come back, we'll touch on that and then get into some of, as you mentioned, some of the fundraising things that have been happening elsewhere that may or may not be beneficial to your guys' cause and to the movement, to the image of some of these movements. Bottom of the hour break. This is the Voice of Reason on KQAM. Your thoughts and calls when we come back as well. 721-8255-721 Talk. This is the Voice of Reason on KQAM.